is the beginning of a process yet in the new financial year that we are planning for us to engage. And that's the reason we have gathered. We cannot recognize everybody else, but I will recognize one person that is important to us as a ministry, just like all of us are, and that's the resident coordinator of the UN system, Madam Susan Ngogi, who is also with us. So from partners to implementers, to service providers, to government, to private sector, to local government, we are all here. I thought I would make this comment so that we know who is before you. May I at this point welcome the Minister of Finance to offer his welcome remarks. Once again, thank you for coming, and we're going to try and keep this recovered time we've lost. Thank you, sir.
The Right Honorable Prime Minister, colleagues ministers who are here, members of Parliament, members of the diplomatic corps, local government leaders, the civil society, the private sector, all accounting officers of government, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. You need some coffee, I think, so that you warm up. Right Honorable Prime Minister, Section 13, Part 1 and 2 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2015, as amended, requires the budget for a financial year to be prepared in consultation with the relevant stakeholders. Our gathering here this morning kickstarts the consultative process of the budget for financial year 24-25. I extend my appreciation to you all here present today for sacrificing your time to be part of this budget conference to develop synergies and partnership, as well as strive to achieve inclusive socio-economic transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, under the visionary leadership of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, the government of Uganda has a social contract to deliver to the people of Uganda by creating wealth, jobs, delivering education and health, ensuring justice and equity, protecting life and property, and achieving economic and political integration within these 5 years, that is 2021 to 2025, through the NRM Manifesto of 2021-2026 and the Third National Development Plan, number 3. These plans guide the development architecture of this country and are designed to improve the household incomes and standards of living of the people of 39% who are in subsistence economy. Next financial year, 24-25, is the last year of implementing of the NDP3, and it is with that background that we have taken into account the mid-term review recommendation of the plan to ensure we accomplish the objectives and the overall goal of the plan. I wish to urge my colleague ministers to provide strategic leadership to your various portfolios and programs during the coming planning and budgeting process to ensure compliance with the NRM government objectives. Your presence at all levels of consultation will be significant in providing the requisite strategic guidance necessary to achieve the country's development agenda. To our esteemed development partners, the private sector and the civil society, your involvement in planning and budgeting process of this country is instrumental in shaping the true partnership required for shared vision of achieving inclusive socio-economic transformation. To all accounting officers and the government, to all accounting officers of government, please note that you are at the forefront of ensuring efficient and effective implementation of government plans, as well as timely reporting and accountability for results. I will repeat this. To all accounting officers of government, please note that you are at the forefront of ensuring efficient and effective implementation of government's plans, as well as timely reporting and accountability of results. I take this opportunity, therefore, to welcome the Right Honourable Prime Minister to address and officially open the National Budget Conference for financial year 24-25 with pleasure. Madam.
The Honourable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic. Honourable Ministers present, the Honourable Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, local government leaders, representatives of the civil society organizations, the private sector, all accounting officers, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this budget conference for the financial year 2024-2025 to kickstart the consultative process for presentation of the budget for the financial year 2024-2025. This will be guided by the theme, full monetization of Uganda's economy through commercial, agriculture, industrialization, expanding and broadening services, digital transformation, and market access. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to commend the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and his team for spearheading the budget process. Through the National Development Plan and the NRM Manifesto for this term, that is 2021-2026, we undertake a concerted annual planning and budgeting to contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, but above all, to lift the 39% of our Ugandans who are still trapped in subsistence economy to money economy. And this will be as part of our inclusive and social economic transformation journey. The government of Uganda, with support from our development partners, the private sector and civil society organizations, has put in place the environment and key interventions to drive the desired economic growth, and they include, among others, the following. 1, provision of an adequate security for all people and their property in this country. Number 2, effective implementation of the Paris Development Model and related government programs on wealth creation. Number 3, building a strong private sector by tapping into new high-value products in agro-industrialization value chain to further boost export promotion and import replacement. Number 4, a paradigm shift in the development of the mineral industry with a focus on strengthening the regulatory and governance frameworks that ensure transparency and accountability to attract private capital. 5, exploiting the downstream benefits of industries from the oil and gas production, including petrochemical industries. Number 6, harnessing the various products in the tourism sector to attract diverse tourist clientele. Number 7, harnessing the power of the fourth industrial revolution and building a knowledge-based economy by leveraging the internet, computing, generative artificial intelligence to create new wealth in the economy. Lastly, maintenance and provision of quality and timely services across the country. The Honorable Minister of Finance and Planning will expound on this shortly in the budget strategy for the financial year 2024, 2025 and the medium term. As guided by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, during the budget speech for this financial year, 2023-2024, the target is to grow our economy to $55.5 billion by the end of this fiscal year. He has also challenged government to ensure that we realize a 10-fold gross domestic product of $550 billion over the next 10 years. This will require doing business differently across all institutions of government over the next 10 years. It's not going to be business as usual. Ladies and gentlemen, a big proportion of our economy is still raw material based. With the availability of a more skilled labor force and supporting infrastructure such as electricity in the industrial parks, as well as the security of everyone, our focus is now on value addition and industrialization of our economy. As we start planning and the budgeting process for the financial year 2024-2025, our task is to ensure that all of us are committed to efforts of lifting the 39% of our population who are still trapped in poverty. Working through the Paris Development Model, EMIOGA, provision of financial services through Microfinance Support Center, and other village-based technologies such as the Nyakana model, we shall be able to create more jobs and wealth. As a government, ladies and gentlemen, we should strive to bring down our public debt to sustainable levels. I repeat, we should strive to bring down our public debt to sustainable levels. Our major task now is adherence to the effective implementation of Uganda's fiscal consolidation agenda, which includes the following: effective implementation of the domestic revenue mobilization strategy. Let me repeat this. Effective implementation of the domestic revenue mobilization strategy. Number 2, effective and efficiency of the public expenditure management. And number 3 is controlling non-concessional borrowing through effective implementation of the medium-term debt reduction strategy. The Honorable Minister of Finance and Planning will give details on this matter as he explained the fiscal consolidation agenda for Uganda in a bid to guarantee the sustainability of Uganda's growth and development. The preparation of the national budget undergoes a long consultative process between the 3 arms of government and all stakeholders to ensure the inclusion of the interests of all Ugandans. I wish to reiterate that the budget for the financial year 2024-2025, whose preparation we are embarking on today, is for all the people of Uganda. I wish to implore all of us as key stakeholders to fully and actively participate in this preparation to ensure full buy-in and ownership. I look forward to a process that will generate credible budget that will benefit and make a difference to the lives of ordinary Ugandans. Finally, government of Uganda, on its part, will continue to generate peace and security, as well as ensuring the protection and promotion of the fundamental and other human rights and freedoms. It's now my honor and pleasure to declare the consultative process for the preparation of the budget for the financial year 2024-2025 officially opened. I thank you for listening to me. For God and my country. I've been given another task to be the session chair. And let me now take the honor to request the Minister of Finance to make a presentation of the budget strategy for the financial year 2024-2025. You are welcome.
Once again, I recognize all of you. In the interest of time, therefore, I will not go through the protocols. But once again, good morning and most welcome. The budget strategy for financial year 24-25 outlines the interventions required to achieve faster socio-economic transformation of Uganda. It's anchored on the objectives of the Third National Development Plan, the NRA Manifesto 21-25, and accelerating economic growth to expand the size of the economy to $500 billion in the medium term. The theme for the financial 24-25 budget remains the same as this one of this year, or running year, which is full monetization of Uganda's economy through commercial agriculture, industrialization, expanding and broadening services, digital transformation, and market access. This is what we agreed, remember, when we were in Kororo. The ultimate goal of the budget strategy for financial 24-25 is to accelerate economic growth to at least 7% in the medium term, with the ultimate goal of building an independent, integrated, and self-sustaining economy. This will involve transitioning from a raw material-based to a manufacturing and knowledge-based economy. I repeat this because it's very, very crucial. Please, everybody listen. This will involve transitioning from a raw materials-based to a manufacturing and knowledge-based economy, as well as improve the environment of doing business in Uganda to make it competitive. Over this financial year, the focus is on the following key priorities of the budget. 1, boosting household incomes and micro-enterprises. 2, commercializing agriculture to enhance production and productivity and improve competitiveness of the agricultural products. 3, supporting private sector growth. 4, investing in the people of Uganda. And I repeat this again. Investing in the people of Uganda throughout all aspects. People think that we invest in people by putting money. There is no need of putting money. Even words, you can get people to grow. 5, improving the stock and the quality of infrastructure. 6, expediting the implementation of strategic interventions, research and development, minerals, oil and gas industry. Next financial year, the process of repurposing the budget will continue to provide resources to high-impact growth areas while consolidating economic recovery and resilience, as well as implementing measures to mitigate the negative effects of climate change. This presentation, therefore, covers the following. 1, an assessment of economic performance and outlook. 2, intervention to shift the economy to a higher growth path. 3, the medium-term financing strategy. And 4, feedback on key issues raised during the last budget consultative process. Assessment of the economic performance and outlook. Economic performance. During financial 22-23, as you all know, the economy grew at 5.5% compared to 4.6% in the previous financial year, resulting in an upward growth of the size of Uganda's economy from shillings 162.9 trillion in financial year 21-22 to to Uganda shillings 184.3 trillion in financial year 22-23, equivalent to US dollars 45.6 billion and US dollars 49.4 billion respectively. This expansion was on account of good performance of all sectors of the economy, with the services growing at 6.2%, agriculture 5%, with food crops growing at 4.7% from 3.5%, livestock 8.9% from 8.3%. This is wonderful. Why, livestock, my interest. While fish activities grew by 7.7% from 0.3% in financial 22-23 and 21-22 respectively. Industry grew by 3.9%, slower than 5.1% recorded in the same period, mainly on account of slower growth in manufacturing and construction activities. Now I turn to inflation and interest rates. Inflation reduced to 3.5% in August 2023 from the peak of 10.7% in October 2022. The recent reduction is mainly on account of reduced transportation costs, a decline in manufactured foods and food crop prices. I repeat this. The recent reduction is mainly on account of reduced transportation costs and decline in manufactured goods and food crop prices. Inflation is currently managed below the policy target inflation rate of not more than 5% per annum. Within the East African community, annual inflation in August 2023 averaged 13.3% and was as follows for individual East African countries. Within the East African community, people think that in Uganda we are not moving. We are moving. Annual inflation in August 2023 averaged 13.1% and was as follows for individual East African countries. You listen. Burundi, 28.9%. DRC Congo, 26.7%. Rwanda, 17.3%. Kenya, 6.7%. South Sudan, 5.6%. Tanzania, that one beat us, 3.3%. That is the lowest in the region. But Uganda, we are also there. I think we are the second. The recent changes, increase in the price of oil in the global market could result in an increase in with domestic fuel pump prices. This may put pressure on prices of other goods and services to rise. However, with our coordinated efforts on both fiscal and monetary policies between my ministry and the Bank of Uganda, this will be contained. As a result of low inflation, the central bank rate was reduced to 9.5% in August this year, up from 10% in July in the same year. And the commercial bank lending rates fell to 18.4% in June 23 from 20.1% in the previous month. This was also partly due to an increase in the prime borrowers who are able to access credit at lower rates owing to their good credit rating with the banks. Private sector credit growth. This remained weak at 3% in financial 2023 compared to a growth of 8.9% in financial year 21-22, partly due to the tightening of monetary policy. In terms of sector composition, the largest proportion of credit was for personal loans and household loans, 22.2%, followed by building, mortgage, construction, real estate, 20.1%, trade, and 18.2%, and manufacturing at 13.3%. During the course of the financial year 23-24, private sector credit is expected to improve, supported by the reduction in inflation and a continued improvement in the economic activity. Now, external sector. China's exports increased significantly, growing by 42% from $3,838 million in financial 21-22 to $5,467 million in financial 22-23, largely driven by gold exports. Whereas exports have increased, the goods trade deficit has widened slightly by 2.7% from $3,299 million in financial 21-22 to $3,388 million in financial year 22-23. This is mainly due to the significant recovery in private sector imports, which increased by 27.2% in financial year 22-23, compared to a decline of 11.8% in financial year 21-22. Overall, government imports declined in the past 2 years, while private sector imports increased significantly in the financial year 22-23. Export receipts are expected to improve as Uganda accelerates the production of light manufactured goods and middle high-tech industrial products, as well as value addition. Tourism remittances. Tourism receipts have risen since the beginning of financial 22-23, averaging $260 million every quarter in the past year ending March 2023, compared to the average of $238 million in the same period a year ago. This is still below potential, and interventions are outlined in this strategy to increase tourism receipts to at least $5 billion per annum by 2028. Remittances have also been on the increase, reaching $375 million in the quarter to March 2023. The annual remittances to end March 2023 amounted to $1.3 billion on account of improving economic conditions in the source countries as the global economy continued its post-pandemic recovery. Foreign direct investments. FDI reduced sharply from $1,274 million in 2019 to $874 million in 2020. They have since increased to $1,526 million in 2022, the highest level on record. I'm happy to report that Uganda is one of the 10 top African countries in FDI inflows for calendar year 2022, and the number one in East Africa due to the growth in the minerals sector and the oil and the gas, which recorded increased activity after the final investment decision in February 2022. Fiscal performance. Domestic revenue. Tax revenues for financial 2022-23 performed on target at 99.9% worth shillings 23,732.99 billion against a target of shillings 23,754.86 billion. Surpluses were recorded under pay-as-you-earn 105.3 billion, excise duty on fuel 65.75 billion, withholding tax shillings 23.59 billion. On the other hand, major deficits were recorded under VAT, which scored 51.7 billion, and local supplies and imports shillings 85.17 billion. The shortfall was only shillings 21.87 billion during the fiscal year. Let me repeat this. The shortfall was only shillings 21.87 billion during the fiscal year. This financial year, overall net revenues collections for the period July-August amounted to shillings 4,038.9 billion against the projection of shillings 4,139.6 billion, posting a shortfall of shillings 100.67 billion, tax 76.6 billion, and NTR 24.3 billion. Despite this shortfall, there was a 12% growth in revenues, worth 405.3 billion. Now we go to expenditure. Total government expenditure, excluding domestic debt refinancing and appropriation aid, amounted to 36,722.66 billion in financial year 22-23, against the planned budget of 37,471.9 billion, implying a performance of 98%. The less than programmed expenditure was due to the development expenditure, which was lower by shillings 3,531.6 billion, more than offsetting the higher than programmed current expenditure that was above planned by 2,836.24 billion. The government recurrent expenditure was above the original budget following supplementary budgets for wages and salaries to cater for the increment in wages for scientists, as well as to non-wage recurrent items. Spending for externally financed development projects was lower than planned, mainly due to absorption constraints faced by implementing agencies, leading to slower disbursement by development partners. Let me repeat this, for this there is a cancer here. Spending for externally financed development projects was lower than planned, mainly due to absorption constraints faced by implementing agencies, leading to slower disbursement by the development partners. For the first quarter of financial year 23-24, we have realized shillings 52.7 trillion. The total government of Uganda budget, date external financing and AIA is 25.249 trillion. To date, shillings 5.61 trillion has been released, that is 20.5% of the total budget. Wage is shillings 1.82 trillion, non-wage 2.6 trillion, development 0.39 trillion, arrears shillings 0.36 trillion. Fiscal deficit for financial 22-23. Execution of the budget during the financial year 2023 resulted in a fiscal deficit of shillings 10,391.53 billion, which is equivalent to 4.6% of GDP. Although this is higher than what was programmed, it is lower than the 7.4% registered for financial year 21-22, and thus reflects the fiscal consolidation drive the government is pursuing today. Public debt performance. Preliminary estimates indicate that the nominal stock of Uganda's public debt increased from shillings 78,833 billion, that is US dollars 21 billion, at end of June 2022 to shillings 86,720 billion, i.e. 23.6 billion at end of June 2023. However, due to a significant increase in nominal GDP, the ratio of debt to GDP declined from 48.4% to 47% over the same period. The reduction in the debt to GDP ratio was also on account of a slower rate of debt accumulation in line with the government's commitments to fiscal consolidation. Economic outlook for financial year 24 to 25. Over the past decade, economic growth has averaged 4.7% per annum, which is lower than the average growth of 7.3% in the previous decade. However, the implementation of strategic interventions such as the Partial Development Model for full monetization of Uganda, development of the minerals sector, agro-industrialization and manufacturing, among others, will spur economic growth to 6% by end of financial year 23-24 and to 6.5% in financial year 24-25, and therefore accelerate to an average of at least 7% over the medium term. This will likely be driven by growth in the industry, services, and agriculture sectors of the economy. On that account, the size of the economy is expected to grow from shillings 184.3 trillion in financial 23-24 to shillings 234.44 trillion in financial year 24-25, equivalent to US dollars 63.36 billion at market prices. Shifting the economy to a higher growth path. Over the past decade, economic growth has averaged 4.7% per annum, which is lower than the average growth of 7.3% in the previous decade, as shown in the figure 13. I don't know whether that one is being shown on the screen. Is it being shown on the screen? Oh, banange. But technology, the main reasons for the slow growth in the past decade include: 1, the regional and global shocks such as climate change, COVID-19 pandemic, volatility in commodity prices, global and regional conflicts. 2, low productivity in key growth sectors, especially the agricultural sector, which is the backbone of Uganda's economy, as you know. 3, low efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity of government institutions stemming from limited coordination across MDAs and low return on public investments. 4, the high cost of doing business, albeit the significant improvement in infrastructure such as roads, energy, and ICT. 5, the high cost of capital, which continue to constrain business growth and innovation, and at the same time creating higher debt servicing costs for government. 6, the domination of raw primary products in the export market, which are vulnerable to world market prices and effects of climate change. 7, limited access to and transfer of technology. And 8, the mismatch between available skills and the labor requirements of the market. Accelerating economic growth and socio-economic transformation require addressing these strategic constraints in the short to the medium term. To achieve the strategic objectives of accelerating economic growth, first, a socio-economic transformation, increasing the size of the economy to $500 billion in the next 15 years. The budget for financial year 24-25 will contribute to this target by focusing on building an integrated, independent, and self-sustaining economy through the following. 1, security, good governance, the rule of law, which are the bedrock of sustainable economic growth and socio-economic transformation. Let me repeat this, because people are just joking with what we have done here. Ensuring security, good governance, the rule of law, which are the bedrock of sustainable economic growth and socio-economic transformation. Abatabiraba, fetwabiraba, tukitegera bulungi. 2, maintaining the macroeconomic stability, especially keeping inflation low and achieving fiscal sustainability, including debt sustainability, through implementation of fiscal consolidation interventions. 3, boosting household incomes and micro enterprises through effective implementation of all the 7 pillars of the parish development model. 4, commercializing agriculture to enhance production and productivity and improve competitiveness of the agricultural products. 5, development of oil and gas industry, including renewed effort to construct the oil refinery and laying the groundwork for the petrochemical industries. 6, development of mineral sector, including putting in place the required regulatory and governance frameworks. 7, undertaking specific and deliberate investment in the tourism sector, including undertaking reforms in the regulatory environment. 8, supporting private sector growth by improving further the business environment and targeted interventions such as supporting ICT infrastructure, reducing bureaucracy, and reviewing the regulatory frameworks. 9, investing in the people of Uganda through education, health, and social protection measures, as I have said earlier on. 10, revamping the stock and the quality of infrastructure by deliberately prioritizing areas that have immediate high growth impact to lower the cost of doing business. For example, the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area Infrastructure Project. 11, putting in place effective frameworks for strategic interventions in innovation and research and development. 12, implementing measures to improve the efficiency, effectiveness, coordination, and productivity of the public sector and public expenditure, including conclusion of the rationalization exercise of the MDS. 13, continued provision of affordable credit by government and unlocking private finance through the Agricultural Credit Facility, which has supported small and large private enterprises. B, the Small Business Recovery Fund for small and medium enterprises. C, a MYOGA for micro enterprises and low income groups. D, Uganda Development Bank for medium to large enterprises. E, Uganda Development Corporation for equity investments and government taking a lead role in some strategic investments where capital outlays are huge or to de-risk such investments to attract private capital. F, implementing reforms in the pension and insurance sectors for the private sector to access diversified and long-term affordable financing products. This requires political commitment. Continued investment in industrial parks and energy transmission to support private sector activity by reducing cost of production for manufacturers. Continued deepening of regional integration is expected to boost growth in trade and exports following the admission of the Democratic Republic of Congo into the East African community. Implementing climate change interventions to mitigate the adverse effects on agriculture and infrastructure resilience. Ensuring value addition to raw primary commodities and improve standards, including through R&D, to boost exports in traditional, regional, and global markets and to penetrate new markets. Implementing interventions to optimize the benefits under the Greater Kampala and Metropolitan Area. The above will be anchored in the recommendations of the recently concluded midterm review of the Third National Development Plan and the 7th Economic Growth Forum. The key interventions are outlined below. Effective implementation of parish development model. In financial 21-22, government launched the parish development model as the key driver to transform the 39% of the population from subsistence to money economy through job creation, increase in household incomes, and wealth creation. To date, government has invested shillings 2.32 trillion in this model, targeting all the 10,459 parishes across the country. Let me repeat this so that the journalists can capture it well. Journalists, listen. To date, we are talking about parish development model. To date, government has invested shillings 2.32 trillion in this model, targeting all the 10,459 parishes across the country. Journalists, please advertise this for me. Because people, when I travel in the country, people are saying, if we send it to the we don't see the money. There must be a problem. But the money, as far as the treasury is concerned, it is that money. Next financial year and beyond, the strategy of implementing the model will be strengthened to ensure all 7 pillars are effectively implemented by the respective MDAs for attainment of the intended goal of moving all people from non-cash to cash economy. This will therefore entail the following interventions. 1, effective implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of the parish development model. 2, operationalization of the other 6 pillars of PDM beyond the financial inclusion pillar. And 3, streamlining all government program interventions and service delivery at the parish to ensure realization of the PDM. Agricultural production and value addition. This will involve identification of agricultural commodities to be the anchors for agro-industrialization. For example, dairy, cassava, maize, cotton, tea, beef, fish, oil palm. Other proposed interventions areas will include facilitating the process of access to credit for small farmers to to affordable costs, increasing long-term capital for SMEs to support agro-industrialization through Uganda Development Bank and ACF, Agricultural Credit Fund. Immediate implementation of the warehouse receipt system to help in sensitization, education, financing, transportation and aggregation, storage, quality standards and linkage to markets. Improving agricultural production and productivity, especially through provision of fertilizers, quality seeds, and seedlings for better yields per acre. Effective enforcement and implementation of rules and regulations to support exports such as beef, horticulture, and other agricultural products. This includes eliminating counterfeit products, including pesticides, fertilizers, vaccines, etc. Supporting farmers to access micro-scale irrigation systems. Implementation of mainstreaming of climate change mitigation strategies, including A, carbon pricing, investing in emission tracing infrastructure to showcase carbon competitiveness. B, investing in climate smart infrastructure. C, supporting research and development in climate smart technologies. D, investing in economy in wide adaptation in all sectors, e.g., efficient irrigation structures and water management infrastructure, introduction of and adoption of drought-prone and flood-prone crop varieties. E, make financing options more accessible, such as insurance schemes for agriculture. Diversifying the source of electricity and invest in expanding the geographical coverage to support agro-industrialization. And lastly, improve reliability and reduce the cost of electricity. Now we turn to development of oil and the gas sector and the petrochemical industry. Accelerating in oil and gas will be instrumental in contributing to faster growth of Uganda next financial year and over the medium term by 1, accelerating the construction of the East African crude oil pipeline. 2, expediting the construction of the oil refinery by government taking a lead role in mobilization of funding and undertaking the required investments using appropriated funds. 3, prioritization of the Kabalega Industrial Business Park to include the petrochemical industries arising from the oil refinery, eco activities, and the airport infrastructure. 4, completing the construction of Kabalega International Airport by providing the required financing requirements. And 5, the development of the refined oil facility in Bujuko. 6, strengthening the Uganda Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative to improve the governance and management of extractive industries. Now I turn to accelerated development of mineral sector. Development of the mining sector and its value chains through establishment of a conglomerate of specific companies in this sector to operate and undertake mineral processing in Uganda. This will entail the following. 1, expedite the mapping of mineral sources for the country and documenting the mineral potential for strategic investors. 2, putting in place a governance framework for exploration and development of mineral sector. 3, ensuring transparency of mining activities and accountability for the revenues to government through royalties and taxes. And 4, establishment of more beneficiation facilities in the country and establishing a minerals tracking system to ease exports. Unlocking the constraints to tourism development. Unlocking the constraint to tourism development, we require the following interventions in order to boost growth. 1, improving the roads, ICT, and other infrastructure in all tourism sites. 2, ensuring security and countering negative publicity and negative travel advisories. Let me repeat this. Ensuring security and countering negative publicity and negative travel advisories. Promotion and marketing by hiring international specialized consultants or bodies. Supporting training in hospitality and state standards. Grading of tourism facilities based on international standards and enforcement of sanitation standards. Promotion of health tourism for health services and education tourism targeting regional markets. Finally, promoting the untapped domestic tourism market to help sustain tourist facilities in very low seasons. Continuation of the export strategy and import supply replacement strategy through the industrialization drive, local content strategy, and agro-based manufacturing. Implementation of this strategy will require promoting, let me repeat, the other item now, to continue implementing of the export strategy and import replacement strategy through the industrialization drive, local content strategy, and agro-based manufacturing. Implementation of this strategy will require 1, promoting targeted industries and enterprises with critical focus on export-oriented industries. 2, supporting various strategic sectors with the goal of developing domestic competences and skilled labor, promote economic growth and lay foundation for industrialization. 3, developing export products where we have comparative and competitive advantages. 4, developing specialization in export markets. 5, enforcing quality standards along the entire processing chain from farm to market, including reforming the UNBS to improve its governance and technical capacity as a regulator to supervise and enforce quality standards. 6, urgently hire more quality inspectors, especially at the border crossings. And 7, political negotiation of trade markets in the context of deepening regional integration and promoting intra-Africa trade. Now, investing in the people of Uganda. Human capital development is central for the development of a healthy population and a skilled labor force through provision of quality health care, education, and safe and clean water. In financial 24-25, the strategy will focus on the following sub-program interventions. Listen, health. The health sub-program aims at providing high-quality and accessible health services to all people in Uganda, including addressing broader determinants of health to attain socio-economic development and prosperity. To achieve this, the following focus areas will guide the planning and budgeting process for financial 24-25. 1, prevention and control of communicable diseases, with a focus on high-burden diseases and epidemic-prone diseases through community-based surveillance approaches. 2, expansion of community-level health promotion, education, and prevention services in all programs. 3, prevention and control of non-communicable diseases. 4, improvement of reproductive, maternal, neonatal, child, and adolescent health services by functionalizing theaters at health centers, falls, and equipping, that is, fridges, power backup, laboratory reagents, and provision of blood transfusion services. 5, improving the emergency medical services, critical care, and the referral system through functionalization of high dependence units, ICUs, in referral hospitals and hospitals along highways, training in pre-hospital and on the hospital emergency care, and improving communication on referral and ambulance systems. 6, supporting improvement in health information management and use, research and technology by rolling out the electronic medical records system right from the regional referral hospitals down to the health center floors in a phased manner. 7, functionalizing all the upgraded health facilities under the Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer Program for results. Meanwhile, in financial 24-25, a total of 122 health facilities upgraded in various years shall be completed and functionalized to offer services to level 3. Fast tracking the establishment of the National Health Insurance Scheme and improve the allocative and technical efficiency in the provision of financial resources in the health sector with a focus on prevention against security. Don't worry. I don't need your water, my friend. I've done this before, so I know I can still continue doing it. Education. Under the Education SAM program, the following areas will inform the planning and budgeting process for financial 24-25. Under this program, the following will be addressed: promotion of STEM/STI in education, research, and development. Development of a complete national vocational qualification framework. Enhancing capacity of the skilling institutions to cope with the growing demands of the current labor market skills. 4, improved data management and evidence-based planning through upgrade of ISMIS to include tracking enrollment, dropout, retention, uniquely identified learners, teachers, and institutions. 5, increased uptake of the digitalization strategy in the program through rollout and maintenance of systems such as TELA, e-inspection, TMIS, e-learning, and National Ambulance System. The budget for financial year 24-25 will focus on further improving access to safe water and sanitation in both rural and urban areas. More resources will also be redirected towards increasing the stock, access, and availability of water for production through the following interventions. 1, construction, rehabilitation, expansion of large, medium, and small pipe-to-water systems in all urban areas and rural growth centers, with emphasis on the underserved areas of the country. This will also include boreholes, solar-powered pumps, and public standpipes. 2, strengthening and integration of the water user committees, monitoring and reporting the parish development model across the country. 3, construction of public and community sanitization facilities such as fecal sludges and waterborne toilets. 4, promotion of monetized water supply systems through construction of solar-powered schemes. And 5, integration of sanitation facilities in other projects, especially on education and health, in line with the programmatic approach for planning. 6, development of a water and sanitation information management system under the Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer Program, which fit with support from the World Bank to facilitate monitoring and reporting of access to safe water and sanitation. Investment in science, innovation, research, and development. This will be undertaken in all spheres of production and business processes to spur growth. It will include, among others, support to research and development in public universities and institutions such as National Agricultural Research Organization and its affiliates countrywide, as well as strengthening partnerships with private sector research and development institutions and scientists in the pathogenic and knowledge economy. Therefore, harnessing the power of the fourth industrial revolution and the knowledge-based economy will require, 1, supporting research and development, R&D, for new product development, new business ways, and innovation. 2, deliberate investment to improve the quality of education, skills development, and investment in ICT-based skills development. 3, putting in place a strategy for long-term development of specialized skills to support a more sophisticated and diversified economy. 4, developing an effective apprenticeship program with the more developed and emerging economies to quickly acquire knowledge, expertise, and technology transfer. 5, linking research hubs with universities and industry operators. And 6, putting in place a reward system and a function transparent patent system for innovations, private sector development, and manufacturing. This will require harmonization of policies and regulations to relate and reduce regulatory bottlenecks for investment by enforcing rules and regulations that support manufacturing, business growth, and accountability. Intensify the fight against corruption, tall order. Intensifying the fight against corruption and ensuring fair play for economic and business agency firms. Industrial development and manufacturing. 8 government-owned industrial parks are currently operational, and they include Namamve, Jinja, Bweyogerere, Mbale, Soroti, Kasese, Luzira. In addition, there are 3 industrial parks developed under the public-private partnership arrangement at Kapeka, Mukono, and Wikwe. Uganda Investment Authority has acquired additional 12 square miles for industrial development as provided by various local governments across the 18 zones in the country. In line with the development agenda for industrialization and manufacturing, this strategy will focus at ensuring functionality of all these industrial parks with adequate provision of electricity, water, interconnection roads, among others, integrated infrastructure development and services. The focus of this program will be on increasing funding for road maintenance and preservation of the road assets value, completing ongoing road upgrades and rehabilitation projects with a special focus on the oil roads and tourism roads, and undertaking preparatory activities for new projects in the future, including undertaking studies and acquiring infrastructure corridors for future investments. Further, investment in intermodal transportation will be made in rail transport, including construction of the standard gauge railway and the continuation of the rehabilitation projects of the meter gauge railway, which will be key in connecting productive areas to the market, opening up regional markets, moving heavy cargo from roads to railways, and thus reducing freight costs and road maintenance requirements in the long run. Under air transport, efforts will be put towards operationalization of the Kabalega International Airport in Hoima and the completion of ongoing studies for upgrading 6 regional aerodromes, including Gulu, Kidepo, Kisoro, Arua, Kasese, and Pakuba. Furthermore, government will reduce the unit costs for construction of transport infrastructure in order to reduce the burden of the overall resource envelope. Let me repeat this. Furthermore, government will reduce the costs for construction of transport infrastructure in order to reduce the burden on the overall resource envelope. In order to improve road safety, government will implement motor vehicle tracking through the Intelligent Transport Management System, undertake motor vehicle inspection, and address the issues of road furniture vandalism. People steal, road marks. Oh, may God bless them. Digital transformation and automation of the economy. The goal of the program is to increase ICT penetration and use ICT services. The program will continue with the implementation of the last mile connectivity, rollout of broadband infrastructure in key government service delivery units, ensuring all essential service providers such as schools, hospitals, post offices, tourism sites, police, local governments, etc., through the Uganda Digital Acceleration Program. And the program will also support the rollout of e-services such as e-extension, e-education, e-health, and remote collaboration solutions to digitally transform public service delivery. In addition, the program will also support the development and commercialization of local ICT products and build a critical mass of talent to develop applications and services through the ICT Innovation Fund, and provide digital literacy training to SMEs and communities to create awareness about ICTs and empower them in the use of ICT products and services. Public sector effectiveness and accountability. Under this program, key interventions will include: 1, expediting the rationalization of government agencies to create efficiency gains with and improve coordination, as well as ensuring effectiveness and efficiency of public resources utilization. This will also include the non-creation of new administrative units. Let me repeat this, that my fellow politicians will murder me on this. This will also include the non-creation of new administrative units within the spirit of rationalization of public expenditure. 2, holding government accounting officers accountable for service delivery. 3, improving the return on investment for public investment to increase productivity and multiply effects on the economy. Implementing the public investment management system reforms and improving governance of project selection and introducing a competitive process to contractors. 4, effective and efficient utilization of public funds, including borrowed funds. This requires a proper project assessment studies and a transparent project selection process based on the potential to contribute to socio-economic transformation. 5, effective supervision of government projects to ensure value for money, improve the return on investment on public expenditures, and realize the required multiplier effects in the economy. 6, improving coordination with the Uganda Investment Authority on removing binding constraints to investment. These are high cost of capital, expensive and reliable power, high costs of transport, etc. 7, ensuring balanced growth across regions of the country regarding the distribution of new projects, prioritizing lagging regions and districts, addressing the security and good governance. Matters of national security and adequacy of governance structures remain the bedrocks of development. Addressing the challenges impacting the performance and delivery of services by all sister security organs will be in the focus of the budget for next year. These will include the Uganda People's Defense Forces, Uganda Police Force, and the Uganda Prison Service. On the same note, improving governance effectiveness for national socio-economic transformation will be instrumental for private sector development and foreign direct inflows, and for steady global, continental, and regional competitiveness. Next financial year, the following will be undertaken. 1. Supporting the welfare of our security agencies. I feel sad when I go around in Tinda there and I see the type of accommodation our police are living in. It's not smart at all. Enhance surveillance and improving timely crime detection to the upkeep of law and order. 3. Increase support to the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity and the Office of the Inspectorate of Government. 4. Integration of human rights culture to accommodate diversity and inclusion. 5. Enhance inspection, monitoring, and evaluation of government projects. 6. Enhancing support for better performance of Uganda's diplomatic missions abroad. And 7. Strengthening the performance of program secretariats to improve communication, coordination, and cooperation of MDs. Social protection. Social protection follows the human life cycle. Uganda's social protection strategy is well diversified, inclusive, and ensures the protection and promotion of fundamental and other human rights and freedoms. Government has in place a number of interventions: universal primary and secondary education, persons living with disabilities, persons living with HIV/AIDS, the elderly persons through the Social Assistance Grant for the Elderly, SAGE, Youth Livelihoods Program for the Youth, Uganda Women's Empowerment Program, WEP, Emioga, Small Business Recovery Fund, now the newly introduced parish development model, which is targeting the 39% of vulnerable households trapped in the subsistence economy that the government is committed to delivering them to the money economy. To ensure functionality of the above interventions, therefore, the following areas will guide the planning and budget of financial 24-25. 1. Continue with the implementation of the parish development model while targeting enterprises that will foster income generation and improve living standards for all. 2. Continue to support provision of social services for all, e.g., primary health care, universal primary, and secondary education. 3. Enhancing support for inclusive businesses recovery and growth. And 4. Concessional financing to enhance support for the youth, women, PWs, and the elderly, etc. 5. Recovery of UWEP and YLP funds from the beneficiaries to sustain and make affordable and accessible availability of the revolving fund. 6. Regulation of and the externalization of labor through the Ministry of Gender, Labor, and Social Development. And 7. Strengthening occupational safety and health. Now addressing the main factors of production to create wealth. The NRM has been working hard to improve the 5 factors of production, namely land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and knowledge, and markets. The Ministry's efforts are geared towards harnessing the factors of production as follows. Capital. Government has addressed all segments of the economic agents, large and medium enterprise through capitalization of UDB and UDC, to small and micro enterprises by allocating resources to the Microfinance Support Center, Small Business Recovery Fund, Agricultural Creative Facility, Women and Youth Funds, EMIOGA, and PDM. A total of shillings 2.1 trillion has been provided in this financial to support wealth creators to access patient and affordable capital. Now we turn to land. The interventions to improve governance and efficient utilization of land include titling 80,000 pieces of land every year under the Competitive and Enterprise Development Project. 2. This digitization of the land registry and take services closer to the people by opening up zone offices. 3. Continued capitalization of land fund to purchase and or compensate landowners. Labor. A total of 1.8 million jobs have been created in the period between 2016 and 2021 in all sectors of the economy, and more jobs will be created by implementing interventions to accelerating economic growth outlined in this strategy. The budget for financial 24-25 will continue to give emphasis on teaching science subjects, skilling through vocational and apprenticeship, training, innovation, and research and development, entrepreneurship. Support to entrepreneurship involves the following: women and youth funds. 2. Generating growth opportunities and productivity for women project. 3. Uganda investment for industrial transformation and employment. 4. The HE zonal industrial training hubs in carpentry, fabrication, welding, shoemaking, embroidery, tailoring, weaving, hairdressing, knitting, bakery, crafts, and stone cutting. 5. Support to creative art by supporting copyrights and infrastructure for production of songs, films, comedies, and providing access to patient and affordable finance. Ultimately, the private sector will remain the main facilitator of entrepreneurship, and the budget has support a number of interventions to scale up the capacity of local enterprises and financial development institutions. Science, technology, and innovation. To build the knowledge economy requires enhancing science, technology, innovation, STI, by providing additional resources for scientists and innovators starting this financial year. Then the markets. Government is continuing to work with the rest of East Africa to trade together under the common market agreements of the East African Community, COMESA, but also to negotiate with bigger markets in Asia, China, Russia, Eastern Europe, United Emirates, and the rest of the Middle East. Emphasis will be put on strengthening market entry by facilitating the private sector to set up export hubs in strategic markets. Government is also deepening industrialization beyond the production of raw materials and intermediate goods to tertiary products such as industrial sugar, casein, industrial starch, among others. Also, investment in facilities to meet phytosanitary, that one, requirements to make our products competitive on the world market will be prioritized in the financial year 24-25. Now, climate smart agriculture. The financial year 24-25 budget will continue to prioritize climate-smart agriculture. This has included the provision of $354 million this financial year for the following: 1. Mechanization, $121 million. 2. Seed multiplication and research, $47 million. 3. Scaling up small-scale solar power irrigation, $62 million. 5. Fisheries, $50 million. 5. Pest and disease control, $37 million. 6. Storage, particularly of agricultural inputs and certification, $37 million. Administration of justice. Administration of justice directly contributes to structural transformation of an economy by promoting the rule of law through effective regulations of economic activity, classification and affirmation of rights, and strengthening laws, regulations, and institutional framework. To improve access to justice for all Ugandans, government will focus at enhancing the performance of institutions involved in the administration of justice. Adjudication of cases should be handled in a judicious, impartial, expeditious manner in order to raise the confidence of citizens and investors in the rule of law and the justice system for national development. The focus for next financial year on improving efficiency and effectiveness in administration of justice will be through 1. Development of appropriate infrastructure for administration of justice. Special focus will be on construction and equipping of courts and additional justice centers. 2. Strengthening the capacity of human resources through recruitment of judicial officers and relevant non-judicial officers to further extend judicial services nearer to the people. This would reduce case backlog through improved staffing levels and case management innovations. 3. Strengthen courts to resolve disputes in special areas including land, commercial, family disputes, environment, standards, utilities, and tax disputes. 4. Enhancing support to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. 5. Advancing the use of ICT and other technologies. Focus will be on rolling out electronic court case management information system to additional courts, procurement and installation of court recording and transcription systems, and video conferencing systems to enhance capacity of courts to handle cases online. 6. Promoting alternative dispute resolution and other case management interventions such as plea bargaining, small claims procedure, and mediation. 7. Operationalize more high court circuits and strengthen the inspectorate functions in the administration of justice system. And 8, strengthen prevention, detection, investigation, and education of corruption. Issues of legislation. The legislature program will focus on the following intervention areas in line with NDP3 and will undertake the following in order to achieve the NDP3 goals. Given the ever-changing socio-economic environment, both in the short and medium term. 1. Timely enactment of legislation to support implementation of NDP3 interventions and other government policies and programs to properly address the needs of the people of Uganda. 3. Strengthening the oversight role by building capacity in PFM reforms for improved service delivery. 3, improve transparency and compliance with accountability rules and regulations, especially on parliamentary recommendations. And 4, strengthen stakeholder engagement and participation in the legislative process to ease implementation of enacted legislations. Ladies and gentlemen, other program intervention areas will be undertaken in line with NDP 3 and agreed principles of planning and budgeting for financial 24-25. Now, I'm about to close. I'm about to end. Oh, it has been a bit long. The medium-term financing strategy. Funding the intervention areas of the budget strategy for financial 24-25 proposed above will require adoption of the following financing frameworks. Deepening the fiscal consolidation agenda. This will include undertaking the following interventions: effective implementation of the domestic revenue mobilization strategy to enhance revenue collection through digitalization of the tax system, enhancing the audits and taming tax evasions and avoidance, adequate staffing and training of URA staff, rationalizing tax expenditure and also publishing them regularly to facilitate cost-effective assessments, ultimately helping to reduce wasteful tax expenditures. Strengthening the social contract of the tax system, effective service delivery to justify to Ugandans why they should pay taxes. 2. Undertaking fiscal adjustment to generate higher growth and support faster socio-economic transformation. 3, reducing wasteful expenditures through repurposing the large public administration budget, improving efficiency across government, strengthening anti-corruption system through digitization and automation, that is e-government, and repurposing the budget. 4, undertaking policies to reduce inefficiencies in the social sectors, especially education and health. These inefficiencies include absenteeism of the teachers, repetition and dropout of students, as well as diversion of funds. 5, reducing borrowing, particularly from domestic resources and external commercial loans, which have high debt service costs and have resulted in narrow fiscal space for development spending. 6, effective implementation of the Charter for Fiscal Responsibility and the East African Community Fiscal Convergence criteria of limiting the budget deficit to 3% of GDP in the medium term. And 7, improving efficiency in execution of projects and public investment, especially with respect to project implementation and maintenance of physical assets. In addition, incorporating climate change perspectives in managing these investments. Implementation of the public investment financing strategy to diversify development financing options and ensure debt sustainability. This will entail the following: leveraging additional financing from innovative sources to meet the increasing development finance requirements. Implementation of this strategy is being expedited. Diversify sources of development finance and improve alignment of financing options to suitable government programs. This includes domestic revenue, concession financing, grants and loans, PPPs, corporate and private equity, institutional finance such as pension funds and insurance products, climate finance, infrastructure bonds, Islamic finance, etc. 3, minimize the cost and risk exposure of financing modalities. The Ministry is already undertaking financial market sounding by calling for several mechanisms that are innovative, less costly, and undertaking clear due diligence to minimize risk. 4, provide a framework for partnership with the private sector both in implementing and financing public investment programs and projects. Now, financing agricultural value chains. The following measures are proposed to be undertaken to help finance the strategy next fiscal year. 1. Reorganizing existing resources across all the sectors that deliver agro-industrialization in conformity with the presidential directive on the realization of the real economy through industrializing agriculture. 2. Accessing recapitalization of UDB and UDC to support the NDP3 agro-industrialization program. 3. Reorienting the portfolio of the Agricultural Credit Facility to close financing gaps along the agricultural value chains. 4. Supporting UDC to undertake joint ventures in enterprises with agricultural value chains. Financing of the development of the mineral sector. The mineral sector development is a capital-intensive venture, as we all know. To attract capital and technology in the mining sector, the following is proposed. 1. Government will establish a conglomerate of the specific companies in the mineral sector and then form a special purpose vehicle that is 100% government-owned. 2. This special purpose vehicle becomes the shareholding company. 3. Government then would have the following options: hiring specialized international management concessions to manage mining, processing, and marketing of the final products on behalf of government with all the revenue coming into the Uganda economy. 5. Selling some equity shares to the SPV to some strategic investors in order to attract technology and capital. And then 6. Acquisition of the required high capital equipment through leasing arrangements. 7. Listing the conglomerate SPV on the international capital market to raise the necessary capital. And lastly, 8. Working out a revenue sharing mechanism agreement between investors and the government. Risks and mitigation measures. The factors likely to undermine the implementation of the budget strategy for the next financial year will include: 1. Low domestic revenue performance could undermine the implementation of this strategy. 2. Global and regional rise in demand for petroleum products could lead to imported inflation, and subsequent increase in the prices of essential goods may lead to suppression of aggregate demand, hence negatively affecting taxes on consumption. 3. Exchange rate depreciation may dampen the volumes of trade, hence lower than projected international trade taxes. However, with coordinated and prudent fiscal and monetary policy management between this ministry and the Bank of Uganda, we shall be in a position to mitigate against the above factors impacting the economy. The preliminary resource envelope now, I turn to that. Preliminary domestic revenue is projected to increase to shillings 29,557.9 billion in financial year 24-25 from 29,672.3 billion. The total resource envelope for financial 2020-24-25 amounts to 52,722.7 billion Uganda shillings. Due to the large debt servicing costs, the government of Uganda resources available for allocation have reduced to shillings 21,734 billion for financial 24-25 from 25,205.2 billion this financial year. Let me repeat this. The preliminary domestic revenue is projected to increase to shillings 29,957.9 million in financial 24-25, from 29,672.3 billion. The total resource envelope for financial 2024-25 amounts to 52,722.7 billion. Due to the large debt servicing costs, the government resource available for allocation have reduced to shillings 21,734.2 billion for financial 24-25, from 25,205.2 billion this financial year. So we have contracted. That's what I'm trying to enforce. Other emerging government priorities will be financed within the principles of the fiscal consolidation agenda. Feedback on the salient issues raised during the last budget consultative process for financial 23-24. To ensure continuity in planning, budgeting, and execution, reporting, and accountability, I wish to provide a status update on some of the critical policy and administrative issues that were raised during the last National Budget Conference and local government regional workshops. Issue number one, I'm about to close, I'm about to finish. There are many MDs and some with unclear and similar mandates. Government should expedite the rationalization of administrative units and public expenditure. You all know this. Progress. Government under Cabinet Minute 280 CT and Cabinet Memorandum CT 92 has submitted the Omnibus Bill to Parliament for approval to implement the rationalization of public expenditure, including government MDS. Issue number two, effective management of Uganda's public debt. The progress. Uganda has since adopted a coherent fiscal consolidation program that includes stronger revenue mobilization, effectiveness and efficiency of public expenditure, and a reduction of Uganda's debt. Issue number three, lack of connection of MDs leading to silo planning, implementation, reporting and accountability, as well as wastage of resources. The progress. Government fully transitioned from sector-wide approach to program-based planning and budgeting, and all challenges related to former have since been resolved. Issue number four, accumulation of arrears has constrained private sector credit stock. Government remains committed to clearing the existing arrears of stock annually. Issue number five, lack of quality seed and seedlings is affecting agricultural production and productivity for both domestic consumption and for the market. The progress is P.S. The progress, I have not seen it. That one. I will come to that maybe. Now, issue number six, non-payment of ex gratia for local government newly created administrative units. Progress. Government has, in this financial year, provided a supplementary of 34 billion to cater for all ex gratia non-payments and shortfalls. Issue number seven, the poor state of roads in districts, cities, municipalities makes access difficult. I have seen that one. Me, I grew in the village and I stay much of the time in the village. Progress. Government has provided shillings 1 billion for each district, city, municipality for opening and maintenance of roads. Local government, it seems I'm not achieving. Many people think we are not achieving. 1 billion per district. Issue number 8, WikiFit hybrid lotting procurement has caused more implementation challenges and should be addressed. Progress. Minister of Finance will discuss this issue with the World Bank for the success program, since all procurements under WikiFit have ended because the program will end in financial 24-25. Now I'm concluding. The budget strategy for financial 24-25 is designed to accelerate economic growth to 6.5% next financial year, and by at least 7% over the medium term through a shift from raw materials-based to a manufacturing and knowledge-based economy, as well as improving the environment of doing business in Uganda and making it competitive. This will ultimately contribute to the building of an independent, integrated, and self-sustained economy over the medium term. Special attention will therefore be paid on the proposed interventions areas to guide the planning and budgeting for the financial year. Accordingly, I call upon my colleague ministers preside over your respective programs and accounting officers during this process to guarantee collective responsibility and ownership of the overall plan and budget, including the National Budget Framework Paper for financial 24-25 up to 28-29. To our esteemed development partners, civil society organizations, and the private sector, I wish to reassure you all that Uganda's planning and budgeting process is very transparent, inclusive, merits us all. It is my appeal that we give support to this process to ensure we achieve the common goal of delivering socio-economic transformation to all Ugandans. I thank you for all listening to me for good in my country. This is another budget speech.
Let us give our brother a big hand. Thank you so much. Okay, members, if we turn to our program, I can see it is time for break, and I will definitely make you go for break, and then we come after 20 minutes. Thank you so much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our protocol, you're advised to take the Right Honorable Prime Minister and the Minister to the designated place.